Alright everybody, welcome back to an Ascotia upload. These totally do not happen every few months. I felt like recording a video today, so that's exactly what I'm doing. And if you couldn't tell from the title, thumbnail, or what's on screen right now what the video is about, well, I think you have bigger issues to worry about then. But yes, today I'm going through the mainline Pokemon games and putting them in a tier list. S of course being the best, D of course being the worst. I could go in order of, how it's laid out here, but I don't want to do that. I just kind of want to go through them in chronological order and just see where we go from there. So that means we're starting off with red and blue. Obviously, essentially the same game, similar to how most have a companion game where they're essentially the best. And obviously it started Poke Craze, and they're good games, but they're not the best. I mean, there's so many flaws, and for that reason, I'm gonna have to put them in B. They're still enjoyable experiences, but honestly, if you remove the nostalgia, they're just relatively mid. They're more broken than they are amazing. After that though, we'd go to yellow, which fixed some glitches, introduced a few more features, but not enough for it to be an A tier in my opinion. I would say it's a high B, very close to A. After that, we have Gold and Silver Gen 2, which were initially planned to be the last games in the series, introduced many new features, breeding, genders, shiny, as well as allowing you to go to Kanto. Honestly, Gen 2 is mostly what I grew up on as opposed to Gen 1, so there's also a little bit of nostalgia factor for that. But I think they're all around very solid games, and yes, while they have glitches themselves, it's nothing that's going to usually prevent you from progressing even by accident. I play through these games on the regular even nowadays, and I still enjoy it, so I'm gonna put these two in A. And Crystal is the enhanced version. It added a lot, but not enough to make it S tier. Very close to this, so we'll put that in high A. Next up, Gen 3. It's no secret that this is my personal favorite generation. While there was some controversy at the beginning, because you couldn't really take your Pokemon from Gold, Silver, Crystal over to them, I think eventually with the remakes of Red and Blue, FireRed and LeafGreen, that was solved. And they introduced a lot more to the series, abilities. Did they introduce natures as well? I believe so. More HMs, I mean, too much water, 7.8 or whatever out of 10. But overall, very solid games. I'm gonna put them in S. And then we get to Emerald, which also added the Battle Frontier. That is so much endgame content. And whenever a new Pokemon game comes out nowadays, people are like, does it have the Battle Frontier? Thinking back to the Emerald Battle Frontier, because that's honestly such a blast. Emerald also fixes every issue with the original Gen 3 games and even adds more content. It's just the superior version for sure. And I'm not even putting it in A. It's an S game for me. I don't know, maybe nostalgia also plays a factor in that, but Emerald is definitely one of, if not my favorite Pokemon games. After that, like I said, we got the remakes, FireRed and LeafGreen. They went off the Gen 3 engine. They're remakes of the original. They're good. They're solid. They're nothing crazy. We got the Sevi Islands. That was new. That was cool. But, I mean, it's Kanto. Kanto's cool. People love it. But it's not anything insane. It's honestly kind of bland considering what we've gotten since then, and that's expected. It was the first run, but they didn't do too much to spice up the games as opposed to just the originals, so for that reason, they're B. Yet again, high B, but still a B. And then we have Diamond and Pearl, aka Gen 4, Sinnoh. I don't like Sinnoh. It has a lot of great Pokemon designs, Lucario, Luxray, Darkrai, but the game, I just can't ever find myself replaying it. It's more of a chore to go through than an enjoyable experience for me. The animations, everything is just so slow. And Platinum came around and fixed some of that and added the distortion world, which is awesome, but it's still nothing higher than a C for me. And I hope when the inevitable Gen 4 remakes come out, hopefully within a year or two, that these games get the love they deserve, because Sinnoh's overall great. It just didn't age very well in my personal opinion, and I'm hoping that they can outdo themselves when we eventually get that released. Next up, we have Gen 5, Black and White, which were a soft reboot of the series. You know, originally it was just Unova Pokemon. People hated that. But there was also more of an emphasis on the story in a Pokemon game than ever before. You can argue there was a lot of emphasis on the story in Gen 3, but definitely not as much as there was in Gen 5. Gen 5 is interesting. You know, you have the iconic, oh my god, bad Pokemon. Like, look, it's an ice cream cone. Look, it's a garbage bag. But I still enjoy it. But by no means is it amazing. So for that reason, I enjoy Gen 5. It's not perfect, but I'm gonna put it in B. It's mid B, if you ask me. Put it right between the originals and the remakes of Gen 1. Next up, we have Black and White 2, which is the, you know, enhanced version of Gen 5. And enhanced is it not only were so many new areas, characters, and plot lines added, but it was the sequels taking place in the futures, and you could actually connect to the original Gen 5 games and get like extra little cutscenes. I don't know. When I was playing this game at launch, I was blown away, and it's amazing. I really enjoy it. So I'm gonna have to put it in low A. Now, you may be thinking, Jess, Ascotia, you forgot about Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and you'd be right. I completely forgot. I glanced over them. I'm sorry. Yeah, so Heart Gold and Soul Silver, remakes of the Gen 2 games. Like I said, Gen 2 is amazing, and these came around and, you know, improved upon it further. But they're not S tier games for me, like a lot of people say they are. They're amazing, and I love playing them, but I would put them in A tier, just slightly below Ruby and Sapphire. I don't know, the one little tournament with the mini games, I played that so much as a kid, and I enjoy Pokemon Following You. But ultimately, it's still Gen 4. It's on the Gen 4 engine, so the games are just a little bit too slow for my liking. However, they're definitely faster than Diamond and Pearl at the very least. Alright, with all that, that leads us to Gen 6, oh boy, X and Y. These games introduced yet again a lot more, made the competitive scene a lot easier to get into, as well as introducing Friendsvar, you know, higher shiny rates, easier way to get shinies, although shiny charmers introduced in these games. But ultimately, it's, I don't know, Mega Evolution is awesome, and everybody loves it, but the region just lacks some character. It's a fairly short game. It's high B for me. Nothing more, nothing less. After that, we have the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, and with the quality of life changes that were added to them, pretty much originating from X and Y, they're an amazing experience. High A, not quite S, especially because the Battle Frontier did not return, which essentially made the game lack a lot of in-game content, which is a huge issue with X and Y as well. And then we get ourselves to Gen 7. Sun and Moon. The gameplay isn't slow, like the battles aren't slow, but the game itself is. If you're playing it, the first few hours is quite literally just tutorial cutscenes, and if you've played a Pokemon game before, or even if you haven't, it's overkill. Like, throw a Pokeball to catch a Pokemon, it's pretty simple. You don't need to explain it 20 times. One time is good. Ultra Sun and Moon, they didn't really fix that problem. There's a little bit more content, but they're not too much better. Honestly, they're still enjoyable to me, and I've played them a lot, but it's still just a high C to me. Then we have Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which is cool because I like the Pokemon Go functionality as somebody who plays the mainline and Pokemon Go. It was nice to see, and I'm actually really hyped they've now added, you know, Pokemon Go and Pokemon Home functionality, so you can transfer your Pokemon from Go into, you know, the newest games and essentially every subsequent game since then more easily. It's awesome. However, these games were just another remake of Gen 1, which I've already said isn't like super amazing as everybody always claims. It was a huge deviation from the standard main series games, and it's essentially in its own tier because of how different it is, but I'm not gonna make its own tier. They're still solid games. I played them, but after I completed them, have I gone back to them? Not really. I mean, they're fun, but you beat the game, and then it's like, now what? Do I go and catch thousands of more Pokemon? It works in Go, but it doesn't really work on a Switch game. I'm gonna put them at a low B. Just everything Gen 1 B to me, I guess. And then we have Sword and Shield. So there's different ways to look at this. At launch was a C, but now that Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra are out and you can put more Pokemon into the game, it's more enjoyable. Battles are relatively quick. It's a good engine. It can only be improved upon further. There is no definitive edition, however we got the DLC. My main issue is there's still no national decks, and as somebody who's been playing Pokemon my entire life, one of my favorite things is collecting every Pokemon, and the fact that I can't bring every single one I like into these games really struck a nerve with me, and they have remedied it somewhat, but the fact that they thought it was okay to do that to begin with still makes me angry. So we're gonna move them up to mid B, and that's where they're gonna stay. I'll make another video if, you know, Sword and Shield get a third DLC, or, you know, Gen 4 remakes are announced and come out. But for now, that is my Pokemon mainline game tier list. I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, it's kind of weird. You might as well do that. And if for whatever reason you're somehow stumbling upon this video and you're not subscribed to my main channel, which would be even weirder, you should definitely check it out. And that's all for me for today, besides one final question. So I know this channel is inactive, and that's because I focus on my main channel. However, recently, you know, I've had a Switch capture card for quite some time and I haven't really used it. So I've been debating on perhaps streaming some Switch games on my Twitch and making kind of highlight / let's play, you know, / stream series out of those games. And I want to do that. I don't know when. It will probably be on the Ascotia Twitch, which will be linked down below. So follow that if you haven't already, although I can't guarantee when we'll get it going. But for those of you asking, I want to ask what game you would want to see. I don't really want to do Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, so it essentially comes down to if you want to see Sword, because I don't want to buy Shield, I already have that as my personal copy, or if you would want to see the Mystery Dungeon game that's on Switch. I believe it's like Red and Blue Master Team Remastered. I don't remember what it's called exactly, but one of those two games. I'm essentially asking what you would want to see first. Down the line, I want to do both, but for now, it's going to be one. I think I know the answer, but I'm putting it up to you guys. So leave your comments down below. Thank you, and thank you for watching. Peace out. Goodbye.